Greetings. Oh, today it's all about apples. It's apple season, and I'm doing something really fun with apples right now I wanted to share with you. But first I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the apple, which is just about one of the greatest fruits I think there is. I mean, I love fruit of all kinds, but the apple is just one of my all-time favorites ever since I was a little girl. It conjures up a lot of memories for me. The thing that makes it great for fruit is it's a very versatile fruit, of course. It's good both cooked and raw. Some of my greatest memories are of my grandmother's homemade applesauce, which was just as smooth as silk. She cooked it. I do the same. I don't do it as often as she did. She always had homemade applesauce, so she cooked the apples and left them with their peels, and then she put it through a food mill, if you know what that is. Old-fashioned food mill. And so the applesauce always had a little bit of a pinkish tinge to it. And she said that's what added the flavor. Well, I think it did. Of course, apple pie and apples and cabbage, and that's a really classic combination. I make sauerkraut, and I usually eat the sauerkraut plain with whatever it is, but I do make a sauerkraut and brats and sauerkraut dish every time we go camping for people, non-sauerkraut eaters, that I doctor my own sauerkraut up a little bit, and one of the things I do is add a little bit of apple to the sauerkraut. This is after it's been made. This is when it's been being heated up for the dish. So that's a really good combination, and there's a great dish that's just apples and cabbage cooked. Red cabbage and apples, which we eat a lot too. It's a really lovely side dish. Of course, and in salads, there's all kinds of use of apples in salads, and of course, or apples as a salad, like Waldorf salad is one of my favorite from a child. That was growing up in Pennsylvania, where Jell-O is a salad. Apples as a salad is more believable a little bit here in California among my friends who have not sold on the Jell-O as a salad bit, even though there's some beautiful Jell-O salads. Anyway, and one of my most favorites, of course, all time, apple cider. Apple cider. I always look forward to the fresh pressed apple cider that the farmers, of course, would make, and we would buy along the road there. They would have their farm trucks out and selling by the jugs, and there was always, everybody's porch had a jug or two of cider sitting on it, and we used to love stealing a sip or two out of those jugs. I think a lot of them were letting the salad sit out because they were hoping it would turn hard after a while. It would turn alcoholic. The sugars would ferment, would make alcohol. And I don't know if you know, but this apple cider that I'm drinking here is something I look forward to every year. It's from Trader Joe's, and it's their unfiltered spiced apple cider. As you can see, it's very cloudy, and I'm going to have a sip. Very lovely. It's unfiltered. It's non-alcoholic, as it is, but the fact that it is unfiltered means that it can be made into a hard cider relatively easily. So, but anyway, that's not why I love it. I don't usually have it around long enough to make it into hard cider. Anyway, so there's a lot of food things we can do with apples, and I will maybe post some of the recipes that I have used apples for on my thegoodwifesgarden.com blog, which is where I put all of my recipes for my garden and things. But there's also a lot of health benefits to the apple, which I just want to touch really briefly. It's really good for oral health. It'll whiten the teeth. It helps avoid a lot of diseases such as Alzheimer's. Perhaps protects you from developing Parkinson's. It reduces many types of cancers. It helps protect you from. It reduces your cholesterol. Helps to prevent obesity and diabetes, they say. Hasn't helped me with the obesity part, but I'm protected, I think, against the rest pretty well. Helps prevent gallstones, and helps you detoxify your liver. It helps prevent cataracts and boost your immune system, and also it helps you develop and keep a healthy heart. So maybe the adage that they say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, may very well be true. Also, the wood is used magically. From the tree, the apple tree, and the apple wood is used. A lot of witches use that, and they're making their wands out of that. Apples are also used for immortality spells, love spells. It's considered a favorite food of the dead. A lot of the Samhain altars are decorated with apples for that very reason. And one of the greatest things, and everybody knows this, is if I cut the apple horizontally, I will find, can you see, the pentagram inside the apple. And a lot of people, why am I having hiccups? These are dried. I have dried these. And a lot of people then will use them, and they will hang them as, maybe hang them as ornaments, or hang them in their window, or hang them just protection, or hang them around their altar. It's a very nice thing. The blossoms are also used to attract love. And one thing that I did not know, that I just found out when I was looking up some things about apples, was that to ensure a happy relationship, it is said if you peel, and if you share an apple with a lover, you'll develop a long and steadfast relationship. I think that's very interesting, because not that I have done that intentionally, but my husband and I always share apples. We always take apples. We have apples a lot at lunchtime, or we have apples for a snack, or we take apples a lot when we go to the park for events and things, and carry a picnic lunch with us. And we always, no matter how many apples we have with us, we eat them one at a time. We don't each take an apple. We always take one and just cut it into quarters and core it. And then we share it. We have always shared apples. So maybe that's why our relationship has lasted so long. Anyway, I don't know. I don't think so. But anyway, I'm excited. I'm trying to rush through what I'm talking about, because I'm going to be making some really fun, crafty thing with my apples. So I'm going to take a minute here. I'm going to stop. I have to move my camera so you can see my hands, and I will show you what I'm doing. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I just adjusted my camera a little bit so that you could see the table a little bit. I have my apple. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I'm doing. I'm going to be making an apple head spirit doll for my altar for Samhain. And I'm going to give you just a little bit of background. I used to make apple head dolls all the time as a crafter. I was a craft artisan, and 25 years ago probably. And I was known as the apple lady, because the very first thing that I made to sell were apple head dolls. Now these were complete dolls, and they had apple faces, but they had human hair, and they had little clothes, and they had little clay feet and hands, and they were completely dressed inside and out, and the body, posable bodies, and they were really nice dolls. And I made those for a couple years, but I have to say, it bothered me a little bit at the time, because so many of my dolls ended up to look like people that I knew, that it's sort of, I don't know, I thought that was a little weird. But now I think that's totally fun. And so I haven't made them in years and years, and I just decided this year to make some and use them as spirit dolls. And I can't wait to show you what I did. And I want to show you how I did it, okay? So, because it's really very easy, anybody can do it. It's very fun. Now there's a lot of ways you can do it. And you can Google all kinds of people that'll show you ways, and you do what you want to do, your own way. Sorry, very thirsty. Okay. But anyway, you need an apple. I have a Granny Smith here. They work really well because of the shape. But you can use any kind of an apple. Any kind of an apple. Now, a lot of the sites, they will tell you to core the apple. To core the apple. First, you're going to peel it, but they also say to core it. I do not core mine. There's a couple of different reasons. But number one, I'm using this as a spirit doll. I'm using it to represent a crone, to be the presence of a crone image on my altar. And so I have some feelings about that. And if you would like to go to my blog, I'm doing all these ads today, I don't mean to, but I have a blog. It's a very short little meditation that I wrote on birdinthecrone.com, my blog. That's my personal blog, and that's also where I have my Ouija store. But also about my feeling about the apple, my little relationship with the apple. But also, I talk about the idea of the apple, the crone, shriveled body of the crone, you know, but inside that apple is the seed of life for a whole new life. And that's what it's about, right? Isn't that what it's about? So to take that core out of the apple for this purpose, I think that's contraindicated. For other reasons you could, but also I think, oh my, it would just collapse on itself. It would really be a mess, and you really don't need to do that. So anyway, I'm going to take, and while I'm talking, I'm just going to start peeling. Now you can take the, and you don't have to be really great at peeling. I'm sure you can use a peeler, but I don't. I'm kind of challenged with stuff like that. I use a paring knife to peel most everything. Exception is if I peel a carrot, I use a vegetable peeler. But half the time, the clowns are back. Every time I talk to you, the clowns come, and they don't come the same time every day, so I can't figure it out. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, I'm just peeling, and you see I'm really crudely peeling this. I'm not taking a lot of care. Because remember, the apple is going to shrivel up. It's just going to shrivel. Oh, there's also some, some spells you can use the peels for. That's really cool. You can also use the peels for cooking. The pectin, especially in a Granny Smith apple, a lot of people throw the peels in when they're trying to make jam to use the natural pectins in the apple rather than artificial, pectin that you purchase. Anyway, so I'm just giving this a really quick peel. You can take more care if you want, but really, there's no reason. And you can take the stem off or leave the stem on. I have done both. It's no matter. It's no matter, because you're going to if you're going to use that as the head, you're going to maybe leave the stem as part of your doll, or you're going to cover it with hair, or you're going to cover it with a hat, or whatever you want to do, babushka. Babushka, whatever. Anyway, then I just look at my apple. So anyway, you can decide later if you want to leave it on or not. You can always take it off later. I wouldn't try to hang it from here to dry. You can, some people do, but it sometimes gets so dry that it breaks. So anyway, then I look at my apple, and I just randomly pick a side which I think looks like the face of the apple. Sorry, I had to cut there for a moment because I forgot to get something. I was just saying that I was picking a side of my apple to use as the face. And I'm going to just make some initial slits in the face of my apple with my little knife here to bring out features in the face. And this is real simple, and I have a little, this is what I went to get. It's a little, I hope you can see it. It's not too dark. But it's a little, oh, can you see that? Oh, I hope you can. It's a little, the lines on there indicate places that there's a line above the eye, and the eyes, the nose, there's two lines coming down on either side of the nose. So I have a line here and a line here, which will be where the eye, you see, your eye socket sinks, your eye, if you feel the bone there, that would represent, below that would be where your eye socket would go. And then, so I have two lines, 1, 2 here, and then I have 1, 2 here, which would just be lines for the nose. 1, 2, because that would be, then there's an indentation because we want the nose to be prominent. Then I have a line here, which would be like where your cheekbones are, because underneath, that would be here. I don't know if you can see. I don't know, I can't see, so I hope it's underneath the cheekbone there. We want to remove a little bit or put a slit at least. And then I have also lines here 1, 2 on either side of the chin, so that I'm going to be removing in here just a little bit, okay? So it's kind of hard to tell. I hope you can see that. Anyway, so first I'm going to just, and that also gives me on my, so I'm just making a little, and I'm going to take a wedge. I took a little slice, and then I took a little, you see I'm taking out little bits of apple. So that it's actually like a little indent. Because then I can really see it, you know, because if there's an apple, I don't know that you can see that. But I took out actual little wedges of apple, little tiny wedges. Because if I just put my knife in and make a slit and pull the knife out, I can't always see where I was. So that gives me, now I really can see where the eyes are going to go. They're going to go in here below there. And then I just take randomly, and I take a slit down on either side where the nose is. And again, I'm going to then cut a little wedge. Little tiny wedges of apple. See? That's all. Can you see that? I don't know. Okay, I'm back. My battery went dead. So I'm going to have to edit this. I hope it makes sense. Anyway, I was just showing, I don't know if you could see, but sometimes if I turn it, you might be able to see, that I have now made little wedges where the nose is going to be. I think you can see those pretty good. So I have a wedge above, a little wedge above, and then wedges down below on the sides. Okay, now I'm going to go in there and I'm going to make a wedge for the mouth. The mouth is going to be, and again, it's just a cross wedge. Cut a little wedge going down. And you can make it as big as you want. And it doesn't have to be straight, because remember, this is going to shrivel up into an old face. Okay, so, can you see? You might be able to say I made one for the mouth. And then, I'm going to go looking at my page again, you see? I don't know if you can tell. Can you tell that I've done sort of the same as the picture? Okay, and now I have to do, oh my, now I have to do the chin. I have to go down and make, I like to have the chin, little prominence on the chin. Okay, so just a little, again, a little vertical cut. I'm just going to make a little wedge there because I want to be able to, again, find my lines. Okay, and there I went clear up to the mouth. I went clear up to the mouth. You see, my knife just slipped and went clear up. So that's going to be an interesting thing. That's going to probably be a crooked mouth. I'm not sure. Maybe, but we'll see. But anyway, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and just gradually, first I'm going to make my eye. I'm going to make my eye hole. Underneath, remember, here was where the eyebrow, this bone is. So I'm going to go down below it somewhere, even maybe with the nose. I'm just going to take the tip of my knife and I'm going to try to make a little, dig out some little, start with where the eye itself would be, and I make some, and again, they don't have to be, and I went up further with that. We're really going to take out a lot more of that, so I just wanted to make a little deep hole for where the eye will be. Can you see? Okay. And then I'm going to just go in now here between the eye and the nose in here. I'm going to remove some of that, so it's going to be, because there's not a ridge around the eye. If you would notice, you know, you have a nose and this is all down low. The nose sticks up, the eyebrow sticks up, but this is all down. So I'm going to take some of that out. But again, I've still left that, and a little bit, but I want that cheek. I want the cheek underneath it. So I just took out some of that, a little bit between the eye and the nose. Of course, you can do anything you want. You know, the best way to do it is get some apples and just experiment, because they come out neat. And then I'm going to go, and I'm going to go under the cheek, because I want, so I'm going to remove some under where the cheek would be here. And I'm going to continue down and take out beside the chin. So I'm just shaving a little bit as I go, you know. And you can keep the brow bone as prominent as you want. And again, I am taking out below the cheeks. So my cheeks are really sort of sticking out. Now my trick has always been to try to get the other side to sort of match. And so I turn it upside down to do it because I'm right-handed. Really, the best way is to do what I did not do the left side first, then try to do the right side to match, because your hand's not covering it. But it's not that important. It doesn't have to match, because remember, when this apple shrinks down, it's going to just shrink down. And it's going to be probably crooked. So I have kind of left my lips on this one sticking up a little bit. And then I'm going to take this side. And it's really kind of crooked. Now, underneath the nose, I'm going to cut that too. Underneath the nose, little wedge, because that'll sort of make a lip. Then I'm going to sort of have a lip sticking up on the mouth. Now, some people like to cut little nostrils or little, what do you call these? This part of the nose. I don't really care about that. Okay. So basically, that's what I have. Not much. I'm going to take a little bit more off the side here, because I like that kind of a... Anyway, that's what I have. This is what I have. Okay, you see, it's very, very crude. And that's really all I do to it. Okay? I don't do much more to that. And see what happens. Now, the only thing I'm going to do next is, it has to dry. It has to dry. Now, it has to hang really to dry. There's a lot of ways you can do it. You can run a wire up from the bottom up, and then back down, and twist it at the bottom underneath. That's what I used to do when I made apple dolls, because I wanted the wire, I had to lay the wire that I then fashioned that wire, hooked that on to make it, the under part of the, what am I saying? What's my word? You know, like the inside of my doll. That would be the wire. I'd make arm and leg and torso. And then I would cover that with a body so that you could actually bend an arm, or you could, you know, but it gave you the form that you're going to stuff. So I used to use the wire a lot, but on these I was doing a different method, so I didn't need all that extra wire. So what I just did was, I took a paper clip, just a big paper clip like this. Here, can you even see that? I don't know. A paper clip there, and opened it up. So yeah, the big part I pulled so that the big part is the hook, and the little part. So the little part I left like the paper clip. Before, I don't even know how to show you. If I find a part that's not sunny, you can maybe see. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to take just this paper clip, the little part, and stick it down in the apple. And then I sort of pulled it in to try to get it caught where the core is. Now, I have to tell you. Okay, then I think like that might work. Then this has to be, before you do anything else, you don't have to, but it's best. I make a solution of like the juice of a lemon, like, or whatever, 2 lemons. About half a cup or whatever of lemon juice, or a cup. About a cup of lemon juice to, let's say, a tablespoon of salt. So and I stir that, and I use that, and I put the apple, and I just spoon it so that all of the apple is covered with that lemon and salt mixture, just so that it's not going to turn brown right away on me. And then I take this, and what I did is I hung it in my oven, so I was sort of in a hurry to do it. I hung it in my oven, lowest temperature possible. I think in my oven was 170 degrees, 170 Fahrenheit, and it took like about maybe 24 hours, something like that, to dry it, maybe a little more. You can hang it to air dry. It's perfectly happy if you're not in a hurry. That's a wonderful way. Now, I want to say something that's happened, though. I want to give you a little caution. This looks like it feels like it's really secure, that it's not going to fall. But I did have one disaster. When I did one earlier, I went and found it, and it was almost dry, my apple. And it was starting to... Oh, and it's too bad it happened on the face. And it fell. Look, it fell, and I found it laying in the bottom of my oven like that, and it fell. And this was the face that was starting to make a really cool face. I don't know if you can see it. But this is how much they shrivel down, you see, from this size. It's a lot. It goes a lot, right? Can you imagine if you didn't have a core in there, how little it would get? I don't know. But anyway, this was unfortunate because this poor woman had an accident, which is very disfiguring. And I don't know if you can see too much, but you can really tell how her chin is closing down on her nose. She's getting that kind of a look, which is very, that's a Crone look, her eyes get deeper set. Okay, and then so what I did was, this didn't happen to all of them, but I thought, oh, this was so tragic that it happened at all. I didn't want it to happen, so I rigged up something, rather than use the wire underneath, because that would certainly hold it. If you put the wire up from the bottom, and then down, just making a loop, back down through, and even just twisted the bottom apple, there's no way it's going to fall. That would have been a perfect thing, and then put a hook on that. But instead, one was, as it was shrinking down, this is what I did next. As it was shrinking down, I took some kitchen string, tied it around the top. Now look at this. This was around the apple before it shrunk. That's how much it shrunk. I took some kitchen string, put it around, and then I put another paper clip on the bottom. Just cut a little piece of it, just to make a little hook. You see? To catch it on the bottom. And the top. And there we go. It kept it from falling off. Now, I don't know if you can see what I got. It's hard to tell until I get the eyes in there. You see? Oh, it's going to be shaky. But her nose is very prominent. Her eyes are nice sunk in. Her cheeks are prominent. And her chin is really nice and prominent, sticking out. Okay? Now, you can try to pull the clip out, but it's easier if you just leave the wire in there, and I just snip it off. Okay? Now, the next thing she needs, before you can do anything else, she has to have, she doesn't have to, but I really like it, and I use whole cloves, just whole cloves. Get some with a nice head on them. Now, when I dry them if I air dry them, my apples, I usually put the clove in. I sometimes put the clove in the beginning, and that's okay, but often the clove will dry along. It will just shrivel down and get very brittle as the apple dries. Okay, so you can put a clove in and then take that clove out and put a new clove in when you're finished in the same clove hole. Or you can, when it's partially dried, put it in. It's sometimes easier to get into. Or you can just wait, like I am, until the end. She's already done. And this is just anything that'll make a hole. Even probably your paper clip would have worked. But I use this all the time as a little nut pick. And I just go down in the center of my eye again. And I make a nice hole, a real hole. And a true hole. And then I take my clove and I stick it in there. And I use the clove for the eye. Okay. Can you see? I don't know if you can see. Boy, I hope you can see, because this video is really gonna suck if you can't see it. So I hope you can. It'll just be the whole thing. Like, can you see? Can you see? No, you can't. Okay. Anyway, you can't. And then what I always have done in the past, and I'll show you because I'm going to show you my finished ones, is I've always taken just a little bit of paint and just put a tiny dot of white paint on that clove, head of that clove. So it just gives a little tiny bit of light. So it makes it more, it looks like an eye then. And it's really fun if you don't put them in the same place. You know, if you have one up here and one, like your light coming here and coming here, it sort of looks a little more Crone-like. And one of them, I'll show you when I look at it, what I do with one. Okay, so anyway, now she's ready for her body. And when I said I wasn't going to make a wire body, this is just me. This is just the way I was feeling this year to do it. So what I thought is, I was really wanting to channel Bird in the Crone, my website, Bird in the Crone, and my Facebook page, Bird in the Crone, and my relationship with Bird. And so I was taking things, and I took something like this. I picked off of my orange trees. I just cut some branch. Now this one's ready to go. I can either cut it, I can decide and use feet. If I cut here, then it looks like crow's feet to me, like shedbird, like crow feet. Or I could do it this way and use, this could be a hand. It could be a hand. This could be the head. You know, you make decisions how you want to do it. I'll show you. You'll see when I did them how I did them. But anyway, I'm stuttering. I'm stuttering. I got really excited. I combined the wood for the crow's feet, for the crow, and feathers for their arms. I used feathers because the crow. I thought that was clever, but that was just me. I mean, I'm just channeling that, and I really was feeling it this time. So I'm going to. Did I have to show you anything more here? I don't. So quickly, I'm just going to stand up real quick and get them there across the room. Get the ones so I can show you some finished products. Okay, I decided to go ahead and show you one thing I forgot when I was cutting. I want to cut this. I'm going to cut this on an angle, if I can, so I can show you what I do with this. And then if I decide I want these feet to be however I want it. There, simply. Just simple. Because I want to show you how I do it, since I don't use the wire inside the apple. There. What I did was I just cut it on an angle, so I had a little point. And then I take the apple and I decide which is the front. Doesn't really matter. And I take and I just carefully, because I don't want to smash the apple. Once it goes through the core, it sits. And I have legs. Or it could go down further, and those could be arms. You know, anything. You can do anything. This is just what I decided to do. And then I took, okay, so that's what I did. That's what I did here. This is the one I made. This is the first one I did for this is the one that's actually on my my blog post on Bird in the Crone. And you see, she's got a really short leg and a really long leg. Okay, and she has feathers. She has feathers for arms. Feathers for arms, and those are actual. These are not crow feathers. These are my chicken feathers. My chickens have been molting. I got feathers everywhere. But anyway, and all the ribbons and things, instead of putting on any any hair or anything on her, I decided to leave her. I used our stem, you see, and I tied ribbons. These are actually pieces of side tokens that I have for some reason for 20 years in the NCA. All of the events we go to, show that we've paid. We've given some kind of a side token to wear. And some are very elaborate, some are very elaborate poured pewter things, but some of them are just simply beads and things on strings. And so I saved them, and I've been using them for her. That I thought was fun. But what I wanted to show you, I don't know if you can see, but in her face, I did give her one of the little dots on one eye only. She only has one, so she's kind of like blind in one eye. That's my point. And I left her without hair. She has ribbons instead of hair. That was just how I saw her. But I just wrapped long strips of linen around and round and round her to give her a little bit of a body around the stick, and to help hold in, and the ribbons, and help hold in the feathers. So she's very simple. And then I touched a little bit on her face. I did a little bit of touch of little paint on her cheeks. Give her a little bit of color. Okay, she's still got some life in her. But anyway, I just love her. And I remember I said how she reminds me of something. Well, she really reminds me of my grandmother. The shape of her nose and her mouth. And my grandmother was not blind, but nearly so. She without her glasses. Very bad eyes. But always the nice rosy cheeks, and it just seems like her little face just, and her spirit with her ribbons and her her little beads and stuff, always feeling the spirit of, she seems like a very joyful crone to me, regardless of her deterioration of her body or the shape of her body. So that was the spirit that I was using in this doll. That was the essence. Okay? That's the first one. The second one I did is a little different. The second one, she's a little odd. A little bit odd. I like the way she came out too. She again has the same feet, and she has feathers again for her arms. I gave her some of my wool that I had been carding, right, for the spinning, and some of the bits that were no good, some of the short bits, so I gave her that, and I just glued that on. So she has no stem. You see, it's been taken off. And I left it real thin in the back because the crone has thinning hair. She's got the two dots, the two little white dots, if you can see that. See, it shows, it first of all reminds you that it's an eye, not a clove. Her nose and cheeks came out really nice. I hope you can see them. She has a really beautiful nose and cheeks, and she has a very prim kind of expression. Prim. She reminds me of Mrs. Urch, who was my grandmother's next door neighbor, who was the math teacher. She taught math at my junior high school. She's wearing some old, these were again more side tokens, but these are some old bells that I love. And she has a very fancy shiny tail. Okay. Which is very fun. So she looks a little more serious. She's a little more serious. She looks a little, especially with the bows around her neck. She's much, like some of my grandmother's church friends, Mrs. Urch. I'm thinking of them all in a row there on the church pew. But anyway, see, they develop their own personality. That's what's fun. I mean, it's kind of risky to start doing this, because once you start looking to see who's in that apple, it's kind of a fun thing to see who comes in there. Now, my last one, you'll either find very disturbing, or you'll see what I was going for here. I didn't give her any. She's been hanging. I've been hanging her. How can I even hold her? I'm going to show you her body first, what her body is. She is just nothing but the torn linen. She has no legs. No legs at all. She has, instead of feathers for arms, she has the sticks for arms. Okay. She has again the wool on the face. And she has, and I've been hanging her this way. Just because she's been hanging above my one altar. Now, because of the way the wood was, you see her head is going off to the side. And some people kind of think that's creepy. To me, I don't feel it's creepy at all. To me, it's just, you know, she's crooked. She's crooked. She might have trouble walking. She has no legs, but she can fly. And the other thing that's really cool about her is that she has, remember this that I made? This is my witch's ladder that I made out of the hair that I had spun, my own hair. So, well, this is not my own hair. This is my own hair inside here. These again are some more feathers from my chickens. But she's got a really lovely little face. She's got a really nice little smile, if you can see her little smile. So, you know, as crooked and ugly and bent as she is, she still has a lot of joy and she's free. She has the freedom, right? She's got freedom. Without legs, she can fly anywhere. And this is a good place for me to store all my power here that I have stored in my witch's ladder. I'm going to just keep that, let her hold on to that for me for right now. So, anyway, that's what I've been doing. I don't know if I think this is really fun. Oh, it's the best, it's just the best time of the year. We have so much energy for all of these fun projects. If you ever do an apple head doll, a spirit doll especially, with an apple head, I'd love to see your results. But also I'd like to know if you do spirit dolls at all. If you do, what you use. What is your, you know, I'd like you to share. I'd love to see a video of some that you do. Okay. So anyway, I would appreciate if you would go and read my blog. I mean, I just write really short. I know some of my videos are long, and I try not to talk too much, but I assure you that my blog posts are very short. So, and they're the same site as my store, the witchy store. But this is, if you go to the homepage, that's my blog. So you just can go there, birdandthecrone.com, and my latest post is about the apple, my relationship with the apple. So I'd love to hear some feedback on my blog if you have the time to read. I appreciate it. Anyway, I love to see what you're doing before Samhain, so get the videos made and get them up. Get them up. Get them up. Or put them up after, and we'll get all excited up for next year. So anyway, thank you again for coming to my channel. I am Rebecca, and I wish you blessings.